Hi, and welcome back to HVAC Talk, Let's Be Real. My name's Renee. I'm one of the owners of LCS.
My name is Tyler. I'm a maintenance and service technician with LCS.
Okay, so this week we wanted to bring you the top 3 questions that we get here in the office about annual maintenance. So who better to answer those questions than Tyler? Okay, so Tyler, the first one that we get is, do I need to have annual maintenance done before I run my AC?
It is not required to have maintenance done before you start running your air conditioner. As long as it is done at least once a year during the service season, we can kind of make sure everything's going to be okay, from the prior season and for the season upcoming as well. Just as long as it's done once a year, absolutely.
Okay, so it could be done in July and that's still okay.
That's when I prefer to do mine.
Okay.
That's just me.
Okay, so when you are doing annual maintenance, does the system have to be working?
The system should absolutely be, fully functional. During maintenance, we can inspect it and make sure there's nothing, that's going to, jump out at us that would need to be addressed. But the system itself should be a working and functional AC to get an accurate inspection form, filled out.
Okay, so when you mentioned that inspection form that you have, so there's a specific checks that you're doing and things like that, which I guess would explain why the system really needs to be working to be able to perform the maintenance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The full inspection form, to fill it out, every part of the AC is inspected, and we can take documents and notes, on each individual part of the air conditioner.
Okay.
So that form is very important to have filled out completely during the maintenance inspection.
Okay. We will get a question sometimes that'll say, hey, my AC really doesn't seem to be cooling as well as it did last year, or something like that. A lot of times we'll go ahead and schedule that maintenance service because it's working, it's running, and the chances of us finding maybe what that issue is that makes, maybe it's, making it not run as efficiently as it was, we'll probably find that on maintenance.
Yeah, we can find, some pretty important stuff out on a maintenance inspection, and we can give you a really good idea of how the system is performing. And a lot of that is, is a simple 45 to 60 minute inspection. It involves a cleaning. And it's really important to have that done once a year, absolutely.
Okay, that actually leads us into our next question. How long does this service take, and do I need to have it done if I had it done last year? So Tyler, you already touched on 45 to 60 minutes generally. Can it ever take longer than that?
Yes, there's a few factors. Some air conditioners have to be taken apart, the panels, to clean them. That can add a little bit of time, taking it apart, putting it back together. Other than that, if issues arise, there will be some conversation with the homeowner to actually go over those topics. But 45 to 60 is a good starting point, but most of those being closer to the 1 hour mark, yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. And of course, we always want there to be, and when I say we, I mean HVAC companies, they want there to be enough time so that we can answer homeowner questions as well. That's Absolutely. A great time to ask questions when you have one. Mm-hmm. As far as, do I need it done every year? If you had it done last year, my thought is the air conditioner sits outside. Your air conditioner, your furnace runs all the time. Mm-hmm. Is that why you want it done every year?
Yeah, that air conditioner, it is used in Indiana primarily most of the year. If we have the AC running, the blower is running inside the furnace as well. Sometimes people don't understand that they both work together. But they should both be inspected once a year because of the amount, that we use them year-round here in Indiana.
Okay. So one thing that I'll add to that as well is if you have a newer system, generally that's 10 years old or less, manufacturers require that annual maintenance to be done to keep the warranty in effect. Right. And so the reason is just because there are so many moving parts, there are so many electronics and everything else on that system that the chances of something going wrong if it's dirty or, there's debris in there, something like that is much higher.
It could be overworked, if the filter's dirty, if things aren't, fully functional because we're not doing those maintenance inspections, you can totally tax the system and keep it less efficient than it really, really could be.
Okay, and shorten the life of it, really.
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, so maybe you saw a picture that we posted a couple of days ago. Samantha actually got a good picture of the cottonwood flying. I think they refer to that as June snow here in Indiana.
Snow in July.
So, Tyler touched on a minute ago, a lot of people like to have their air conditioner maintenance completed early in the season, so maybe April or May. That is absolutely fine. However, cottonwood tends to fly at the end of May and into June. What does cottonwood do to an air conditioner?
It can very, very harshly restrict the airflow going through the outdoor condenser coil, the air conditioner itself. We clean it off when we do our maintenance inspection. If we do that before all the cottonwood falls in central Indiana, a simple rinse down with a hose can really help it out.
Okay. Now, if somebody were to rinse it down with the hose themselves, do they need to turn the air conditioner off first? Or
Yes.
Okay.
You can set your system to off, just so it's not running. You don't want that water, spraying back in your face or all around, but just spray it off with the hose. Does not have to be high pressure. And try to stay direct in line with the air conditioner side you're facing. You don't want to go at an angle either way.
Okay, so that is something that you do on maintenance.
Absolutely.
Obviously. And this is also, I would assume this is probably why you said you prefer July. It's because...
I prefer July. It's a little warmer outside. I can get a better understanding of how my air conditioner is really running. Mine is very old. So
Which is fine.
Which is fine because I've kept it, in good shape. But May and June, nobody likes to be covered in rain, so if it's raining, I tend to push mine off a little bit. But July is my preferred time of year. It's direct in the middle of summer for me, so I just like to get it done then.
Okay, that's perfect. Travis has also mentioned our house. He usually does a little bit later in the season because of the cottonwood. We have a lot of cottonwood that flies in our neighborhood, and we'll literally do maintenance early, and a week later, it's like the AC is all plugged up again.
Yep.
Yeah, so he'll wait. So just keep in mind, those are some great tips, Tyler. Thanks for sharing those. There's not a specific time of year that maintenance has to be completed. It's just important it's completed once a year.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's perfect. Of course, if you have any questions at all about maintenance, what it entails, how it's scheduled, that sort of thing, feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, you have a great holiday week, and we will see you next week on HVAC Talk. Let's be real.